Hey, what's good, y'all? Today we're going to talk about, is Bud Crawford too big? Did he gain too much muscle for this fight? And I'm also going to touch on what Bud can do to get the win right after this. Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Galaxy Sports Supreme GSS podcast. Today I'm talking about Bud. Did he gain too much weight? By the way, I'm your host, AP. Please like, subscribe, and comment for sure. But I definitely wanted to talk about, is Bud extra weight gain, is it detrimental to his performance? Now, looking at all the pictures, obviously Bud is in shape. Bud has always been in shape, going all the way back to 135, 140, 47, 54. He's always in shape. This is nothing new. Always. He's a professional. He always comes in shape. My personal opinion, Bud should come in a little lighter for this fight. I think a lighter Bud provides speed, agility, reflexes. If you look how big Bud's arms are right now, it's almost as if he can't even get full extension because he has so much muscle on his arms. To me, that's not good. That extra muscle, all it's going to do, in my opinion, is fatigue him faster, much quicker than he was at 147, at 154. This is not a bodybuilding contest. This is a boxing contest. To me, all that extra muscle is not even needed. The reason being, he's not knocking Canelo out. So he should come in lighter to be able to be lighter on his feet. His punches could come faster. His quick twitch is still there. His speed is still there. But with all this extra muscle that he's gained, I don't see him being able to get off as quick as he used to. And if he does, without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to tire himself out much quicker, all that extra muscle. Now, Bud does rely on reflexes, speed, quick twitch. His arms are much bigger. For all the muscle he gained, to me, it's definitely just going to slow him down. It's going to slow him down. His punches will not be as fluid because of the weight on his arms. You can see how bulked up his arms got. Just way too much muscle. Way too much muscle. Just to give you a quick example, AJ used to come into his heavyweight fights looking like, Hercules. But guess what? After 6 rounds of throwing punches, he can barely lift his arms because he's already gassed out from the extra weight. His stamina became a little bit better when he slimmed down and dropped some of that muscle. Then he was able to, hold his energy longer for the duration of the fight. And again, it's not a bodybuilding contest. All that extra muscle, to me, that's going to be a detriment to Bud in this fight, without a doubt. Muscles weigh you down. They get heavier much quicker. There is a path to victory for Bud. One path. Bud has to box great from the outside, essentially swim and don't get wet. I believe lateral movement is going to be key. I think Bomac kind of tipped his hand, that is, when he said Canelo should have been sparring William Skull instead of Boots. Now, we all saw what happened with the William Skull-Canelo fight. William Skull used extreme movement. Canelo was barely able to catch up with him, was not able to cut off the ring. The way William Skull was moving, to be honest with you, I don't know who the fuck would have been able to cut the ring off against that guy. You would literally have to run to cut the ring off against this guy, to catch up with him. But nevertheless, he's going to have to use movement, box beautifully from the outside, and more importantly, do not tire out. If you're going to start to use movement, you can't stop, because Canelo is going to be stalking Bud the whole night. And as soon as Bud slows down, He's going to get Bud against the ropes and rip those body shots and head shots. We've seen it before. It's nothing new. So I think Bud has to utilize lateral movement, use that stick, and swim and don't get wet. But it's a fine line between too much lateral movement and not enough lateral movement. So Bud has to kind of balance that out also if he wants to get this W. So if Bud does all of that, lateral movement, popping the jab, swim and don't get wet, just chip Canelo up, to me, Bud still needs to get at least one knockdown, if possible, to secure the decision. And the reason why I say that, people forget this is Canelo Alvarez. It's not easy getting a decision against him at all. We should know this. We saw the Lara fight. Lara fought beautifully. Lara won that fight. Lost the decision. Most recently, when Canelo fought Bivol, Bivol dominated 90, 95% of that fight. Had Canelo against the ropes, just eating him up. Did you see the scorecards? Bivol barely got the decision, and he dominated 90 to 95% of that fight. So you have to think, what does Bud have to do to get this decision? Bud can box beautifully all night, but if he don't put Canelo on the canvas, I think it's a long shot that he gets the decision, because this is Canelo. Let's be real, guys. Canelo is already up 5-0 on the scorecard right now. We know this already. So for Bud to try to pull out a decision, he has to box beautifully from the outside, swim and don't get wet, lateral movement, but I do believe he does need at least a knockdown to try to solidify the decision. At least a knockdown. I can't see him pulling out a decision without knocking Canelo down. And, still looking at the odds in Vegas, Canelo is still the favorite. I believe Canelo is like a plus 121 for the decision. Bud is a plus 210. Very close fight when it comes to going to the scorecards. But what I like to point out is the odds for a stoppage, a TKO or a KO, a stoppage. Bud is plus 850. Basically, Vegas is saying Bud has very little chance, less than 20% chance to get a stoppage. The odds for Canelo stopping Bud are plus 310. Now, I've seen it as high as plus 380, plus 350, as low as plus 310. Either way you cook it, that particular odd shows Vegas is saying Canelo has a very good chance to get a stoppage. Plus 310. That's almost an 80% chance at Canelo getting a stoppage. So Vegas sees something. Vegas knows something. And it's very obvious. Bud hasn't fought at 168, all the extra weight. Bud chin hasn't been checked by a 168-pounder. Not in a fight. And Canelo has, numbers don't lie. Pretty much his last 5-6 fights, he's put everyone on the canvas. He hasn't stopped them because these guys are naturally bigger, naturally 168, 175. He's putting them on the canvas. He did stop Caleb Plant. He put down John Ryder, Munguia, Berlanga, Jermell Charlo. They all took a knee. They all hit the canvas. But these are bigger fighters naturally. I think Bud coming up in weight, Bud is a natural, in my opinion, a welterweight coming up to 168, but just by adding muscle, I don't think his chin follows. I don't think his chin follows. He has to prove to Canelo that he could take Canelo's best shot. If he could take Canelo's best shot, Bud is in the ball game. Bud is definitely in the ball game. But all in all, I do believe that extra weight is going to eventually rear its ugly head in this fight. But it's going to be slower, more lethargic, and let's be honest, that extra weight will tire Bud out eventually. He has too much muscle. I wouldn't come in, if I was Bud, no heavier than 160. That's what I would do personally. 160. So you can move better. Your feet are lighter. Your arms are lighter. Your body is lighter. Coming in at 168, rehydrating to 170, 173, I just see Bud tiring out too quick. And we know Canelo is sturdy. He's taken the biggest punches from Triple G, Daniel Jacobs, you name it. We've never seen the guy wobble ever. At least I haven't. So Bud definitely has a shot. He has to box beautifully, swim and don't get wet, utilize lateral movement, don't become a stationary target. But he also, in my opinion, needs a knockdown to get a decision. Getting a decision over Canelo is not easy, whether it's right or wrong. It's not easy. It's not easy. And people keep in mind, before I go, Turkey is invested in Canelo. What does that mean? If I'm not mistaken, Turkey has a 3-fight deal with Canelo. That's what it means. He wants Canelo to fight Hamza Shiraz after this fight. You think he wants Canelo going into that fight coming off a loss? Of course not. Like I said, Canelo is up 5-0 with one of these judges' scorecards already. So keep that in mind. Bud needs a knockdown. Box beautifully. Don't tire out. He's definitely in the running for a decision. But without a knockdown, I just don't see them giving Bud the decision. Don't see it. So with that being said, guys, the fight is about a week out. I'll probably do another show talking about this fight, breaking it down, analyzing. But for now, please like, subscribe, comment. Definitely welcome the comments. Don't forget, take care of yourself. Your health is your wealth. Until next time. Peace.